Check. 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 It goes in. I think we're up. But then he comes out. It's out again.
I can't hear you. What are you saying? Red, white audio. Tape is out, yes.
Check 1, 2. I know. Check. First quarter, 2 minutes and 45 seconds left in the first. Vikings with a 7-10 deficit. Quinn Benger stepping out for a breather. Okay. Sorry for the technical difficulties. If you can hear us, welcome.
All right, Sean. Well, one of these days we'll get the sound right.
Let's hope so.
Well, we come to you with the score: Garnet Valley 12, Vikings 7. Vikings were up 5-0 quickly, but Garnet Valley has kind of chipped away. Both teams shooting from outside.
And what's happened, I'm noticing here, Garnet Valley's defense is really suffocating in the backcourt. And they're taking advantage of steals and really just aggressive defense to cause some turnovers for the Vikings, and it's hard going early for the ladies.
2 quick fouls against Emma Miley, and it looks like the Vikings will go to the bench. For those of you just joining us, you haven't missed a whole lot. You haven't heard us. This game is to determine seeding for the PIAA state tournament. So both teams are going to states. We know that. We know the winner will either be the 5 or 6 seed in states. The loser will be the 7 or 8 seed, and that can make a difference as far as who you match up with and where you end up playing.
And just a little bit of an update. Belle Bacani coming in for the Vikings. Checking out Emma Miley, who picked up a quick 2 fouls here in the first. So
very, very young lineup out there for the Vikings right now.
This is gonna prove, I think, extremely amazing. Like, it's going to be helpful down the road in years to come for these young players to be having so much playoff experience. But let's see how it proves for us tonight. Early timeout here for the Vikings.
So the Vikings call timeout, which gives us a wonderful opportunity to kind of talk about this game because, we can spend, less time than last time trying to figure this out. Starting lineup for Garnet Valley, Alana Williams, junior guard, Carly DiSabatino, a senior guard, Caitlin Duggery is the center on the team. She's a senior. Emily Olson, sophomore. Ava Pacenti is a senior guard. For the Vikings, the starting lineup was Jennifer Beatty, Julia Smith, Emma Miley, Grace Miley, Quinn Bettinger, but Emma Miley's gone to the bench with 2 fouls.
And we also have Quinn Bettinger on the bench as well. So they're smaller as well as younger. So let's see how the Vikings respond here. We have Grace Miley into the game with Julia Smith, and we also have Lena Stein, I believe, is out there as well. So again, a young crew out there and really having a hard time moving the basketball.
These 2 teams did play back on December 11th, way back. It was the second game of the season for both teams in a tip-off tournament here at Perkiomen Valley. The Vikings won the first time 56-43. This game looks like it's going to be a little bit more lower scoring than that one was.
Yeah, there's a lot of trapping happening up top, making it really difficult for the Vikings to get things going offensively. Really physical.
Grace Meyer for 2, and that makes it 14-9.
And I think their offense definitely need that confidence right there.
Garnet Valley bench was looking for a travel or a double dribble there. They didn't get it. And the Vikings take advantage.
Huge rebound. Grace Miley playing really good down in the low post, getting a big needed rebound for the Vikings.
38 seconds to go in the first quarter. A steal by Haley. Then she turns it over to Julia Smith to Bella Bacon.
Love the transition, sticking with it and getting a score here, making the 3-point game as we close out the first quarter.
Garnet Valley goes outside. An outside shot by Dansky is blocked. Jen Beatty saves it though, right to a Jaguar and puts it back up. No good. Julia Smith with 5 seconds left. Smith to Miley, who loses the ball, and that is how the first quarter will end. A heave and foul!
Oh wow!
And it counts.
Unbelievable end to the first quarter. A heave from midcourt.
I believe that was Emily Olsen with that 3, and with that, the Jaguars lead 17-11 at the end of the first quarter. And that probably changes how this huddle happens here at the end of the quarter.
Ryan, what are you thinking the Vikings are doing there and talking about there in the huddle right now?
Probably not turning the ball over. It looked like that turnover there by Julia Smith may have led to 3 points there that otherwise shouldn't have gone in.
I would say that they need to be a lot more careful with the basketball. Extremely more comfortable with trying to find the open players, they're throwing a lot of things across court. They're throwing things in the middle of traffic. Being careful with the basketball, anticipating the intensity defensively, and trying to get things to go offensively. Defensively, they have to pick up a little bit more of the pace with their own intensity. A lot of things are happening wrong right now for the Vikings. So.
Quinn Bettinger returns to the game to start the second quarter as Garnet Valley will inbound. So not only did Garnet Valley get 3 points there, they get the ball to start the second quarter too. Vikings continue to go with a very young lineup with Jen Beatty, the only senior out there. 3-pointer by Ada Kazemti. And that's a 9-point lead for Garnet Valley.
And if the Vikings are going to chip away at this, they're going to have to play their style of basketball. Really looking, I think, to get some dribble drives into the lane, open jump shots, and defensively, they're going to have to make something happen in getting hands out there because they're not. Garnet Valley's knocking down 3-pointers, and I don't know that there's much you can do about that.
And teams are hot early. Sometimes they cool down too, so they got to keep themselves within arm length here.
That's true. It's a long game. We have 7 minutes left in the first half. Let's see what Vikings do here.
So Connie thought about it. She's double teamed, pass to the side for Stein. Well defended by Emily Olsen.
It's good interior defense for the Zags.
We haven't talked too much about Garnet Valley here. They've come into this game 17-8. Coach Phil Woods had a good season. They lost the other day though to Springfield. A tough one. They were up early and Springfield chipped away. Right-handed lane.
It's a nice drive there from the top of the key. Their post plays really hasn't been there most of the game, but we're seeing that come alive here. Shot there from Bakani is off the mark.
Shot off the mark. Harley Di with the rebound. He dishes it for Caitlin Duggery, who passes it back. Savannah Saunders. No good. Jane Bettinger rebound and draws it down.
Olsen's first, team first.
This is a big opportunity, I think, for Quinn Bettinger to start to command some presence in the lane, offensively and defensively. That was a good first rebound for her. And Bakani brings the ball up.
4 freshmen and a senior out there for the Vikings.
And Jen Beatty has been quiet offensively. I think she was off the mark on her first attempt.
Very different lineup than we saw last time we played CDs last year.
Absolutely. Last week we saw them stay with a really the same 5 players for almost 3 quarters. So they're switching things up early. We're going very young early in this game, and let's see how it pans out.
Savannah Saunders called for the block there, but first on her, second on Garnet Valley. Cross-court pass. Bakani thought about the shot. Now she brings it back out. Vikings playing in this game because they lost a tough one against Sourdough on Saturday. They lost 49-41. 3
And you know what? I think PV style basketball is successful when they work through Quinn Bettinger. When they get that high post look, defense collapses just a bit, and that opens up an opportunity for Jen Beatty to knock down that 3-pointer. He's guarding all the way up at the top by the half-court line. It looks like they're not really giving any space for Garnet Valley to get things going.
Now they hope to miss the pass there. Defended by Quinn Bettinger. Onto Connie was fouled by Ava Casenti.
Great hands for Quinn Bettinger. Nice turnover there, and then Bella Connie being strong with the ball to draw the foul.
Casenti's first, team third. Coach Russo continues to go with this young lineup. You're going to let Bakani handle the ball. Set up the offense. Bettinger cross, short pass. She's fouled.
Great opportunity there to recover for Jen Beatty to get to the ball, also drawing the foul. Again, they're trying to work that offense through the high post.
That's Saunders' second foul, team fourth. Beatty gets it into Julia Smith. Beatty and Smith play catch. Now Beatty double team for a moment. Gets it back to Smith. Bounce pass to Bakani. And the Vikings taking a little bit of time here, a little patience to see what's there.
It looks like Garnet Valley is staying home defensively, almost daring PV to shoot. They're moving that ball quickly.
Julia Smith with 3.
The crowd was looking for a travel on that one, but that went off the mark.
Brought down by Kylie Mulholland, who puts it out. Gets 2 more for
It's a tough shot in transition, and that's a good shot to make.
That's another freshman for Garnet Valley, too, so a lot of youth on the court right now.
We have a 10-point game here with 3:40 left in the first half. Garnet Valley 24, PV 14.
And Beatty into Bettinger, back out to Stein. Stein back to Bettinger. High off the glass, rebounded by Savannah Saunders.
I think she was looking for a foul there. That one is off the mark. She collects herself just a little bit. You know, maybe takes one hard dribble, power dribble in. Might find success there.
All guarded by Bakani. And Garnet Valley calls timeout. Garnet Valley calls timeout with 3:06 to go, second quarter. They lead 24-14. Now these seeding games can be weird sometimes because sometimes it really is all about who's motivated and who wants to play well. So,
and really, it's also an opportunity to prepare. I mean, all these teams that are left are are playing at a high level. And PV, I think, maybe wasn't necessarily ready for what Garnet Valley was going to bring, because it's a different team that I'm sure that they saw them back in December.
Full timeout here as both teams discuss it. Both teams are going to state. That's got to be a good thing for both teams. I'm sure that was a goal coming into the season for both teams. Maybe not happy that they lost their last game, but have to be happy with how things are going with their season, especially both with young teams trying to get some experience here.
Yeah, I think this bodes well for both programs moving into the future. But for tonight, I think Garnet Valley came out working hard on all cylinders, trying to get. They have something to prove, and PV certainly doing their best to fight back into it. So it's going to be a good opportunity. Bakani with a nice turnover,
and then a youthful turnover on the other side, but she gets it back. I guess if you're going to turn it over, you got to get it back. This one bounces out of bounds. It'll be Perkiomen Valley. It looks like a substitution is coming in.
The one thing I always admire about this team is that they do not give up on possessions. They do not give up on loose balls. They're always fighting through, and this has been a tough one early on. It's been messy, a lot of turnovers here and there, but they're not giving up, and they're stepping up to the plate to try to make things happen.
Coach Russo is going to trust his senior to come back in as Emma Miley looks to check in next time out. Cross-court pass to Bakani, who thought about the three. She was well guarded by Ava Pacenti, though. Quinn Bettinger, and that's a travel on Julia Smith before she took the three.
Yeah, she takes that little hop right there, and the referees are becoming a lot more strict on that call right there this year, so that's a tough one.
Now, we're very happy that NBA officials don't call that, because James Harden's now a Sixer, and we're totally cool with it now, aren't we?
I think we're completely fine with that happening at the NBA level.
Emma Miley comes back in with her sister Grace, so they both check in. Ball deflected by Quinn Bettinger. She gets it, and another turnover at the other end. Lena Stein back to Miley. Miley to Bettinger. Doesn't get the roll this time, and then puts it back up and gets fouled, and she'll shoot 2 free throws.
That's a wonderful dish there for Miley. Bettinger having a hard time finishing, but does recover and gets the foul. So she's going to the line.
And you can see the difference of having a senior ball handler out there, perhaps against maybe a freshman, because
Absolutely.
Miley knew what to do, brought the team up quickly too. First shot by Bettinger's no good. That foul, by the way, was on Kylie Mulholland, her first, team 5th.
And that is 5 team fouls for Great Valley at this point. So let's see what happens. If that factors into the end of the quarter. I'm sorry, my apologies, Garnet Valley.
Galen Duggery checks back in for Garnet Valley. 1 out of 2 from the free throw line for Bettinger, and it's a 9-point lead for Garnet Valley.
PV's going to pick up full court, but after it seems like they get that ball in, they're going to come back into their man again.
Kylie Mulholland, freshman for the Jaguars, handles it. She gets a pick, passes it off. Duggery through the paint, passes off, and Garnet Valley resets. 90 seconds to go, second quarter, and it's a 24-15 lead for Garnet Valley.
They do use this whole court, right? Bring that ball all the way out, almost to the mid-court line, really stretching the defense of PV.
Now it's Olsen to Pacenti. Pacenti spin move to the lane, up and under, and just missed that one. A nice effort by Ava Pacenti. Grace Miley to her sister Emma for 3. Got it.
Huge shot. PV needed that one. Great set there for Emma Miley. Wonderful offensive movement of the ball.
Ball deflected out of bounds. It'll stay with Garnet Valley with 52.5 seconds left. Coming in off the bench for the Vikings is Ella Stein, coming in for Quinn Bettinger. So 2 Mileys on the court, 2 Steins on the court.
It's a family affair this evening here at Perkiomen Valley.
Jen Beatty's got to feel a little left out.
We can call our brother up from college, see if he wants to check in.
Easy basket, though, for Emily Olsen. Nice pass on the inbound.
brother Kevin, a former athletic standout here at PV, and we certainly wish him well at the college level.
All right. Older sister Shannon, who's in the corporate world, wonder if she has eligibility left too.
We could probably check her into the game. I don't know.
Out of bounds and off to Garnet Valley. And with 33 seconds left, we'll see if they play for one shot or if they're aggressive and go to the basket.
PV's going to pick up full court here. About 30 seconds left in the half.
Beatty with some incidental contact. Nice job to split the defense. And then got to call something there.
And these fouls, I think, are going to pay dividends down the stretch of this game. These fouls getting picked up by Garnet Valley. So good thing being offensive, being intense down the stretch. So we have 20 seconds left.
Ava Pasenti called for a second. That's the sixth team foul. If there's another foul here in the first half, the Vikings will shoot some free throws. Out of bounds off of Kylie Mulholland, and it'll be the Vikings ball with 15.2 seconds left.
See if they get something going here offensively.
Now, this opportunity like this, save it for the last shot, or you go be aggressive and go to the basket?
I think you save it. You don't want the ball in the hands of Garnet Valley to end. So you have about 6 seconds left.
Yeah, we saw what they did at the end of the first half.
Absolutely. We don't want that to happen.
Beatty with a second left. She gets no, but she will shoot 2 free throws here to end the first half. She is fouled on the way to the basket, and now she'll shoot free throws in front of the empty gym. So the half is not over yet till these 2 free throws are taken.
That was a great
foul
drive.
Called against Emily Olsen, by the way, her second.
It's a good drive there for Beatty. Man, if that would have thought, that would have been amazing. But she's going to go and shoot 2.
She misses the first. Yeah, it's a 2-shot foul, guys. Garnet Valley was under the impression it was a 1-and-1, but instead it is 2 free throws. So Beatty gets 1 more. It's halftime with the score Garnet Valley 26, Perkiomen Valley 19. Some first half thoughts there, Sean Burke.
Wow, it was a quick whirlwind of a lot of things happening with our sound going out and just basically the craziness happening on the court. PV lucky, I think, to walk away with only a 7-point deficit. However, I think I saw some good things from the Vikings and some other things I think they need to work on.
All right, we'll be back in about 8 minutes with the second half. Halftime score back here at Perkiomen Valley. The Vikings trail the Jaguars 26-19. And what do you think the halftime messages were? Let's start with Garnet Valley first. What do you think the halftime message was coming back for the second half?
I think they want to keep their defensive intensity up, but I think they need to be a lot more offensively patient and find the right shot. I think they're rushing shots a little bit. But overall, I think that their game plan was to come intense, and that's worked in their favor.
And the Vikings have to figure out a way to come back. Their typical average in the first half of the season talked about.
I think they had to have talked about taking care of the basketball. I think that's at the top of the list, and not allowing Garnet Valley to really get those turnovers. And I think it's just they've been careless with the ball. They've been letting Garnet Valley dictate the pace of this game, and it's worked against them. So if they dictate the pace and they run their half-court offense the way that they normally do, I think that they can find their way back into this game pretty quickly.
Usually at this point, we would ask Matty Stats what interesting stats were in the first half, but he's not here tonight. Man, it's okay to be elsewhere, other than here. So we'll have to come up with our own stats, and the only stat we really know about is fouls. So what do you think the predicament that Garnet Valley might be in after that first half? It looks like some of their starters have 2 fouls going into the second half.
And you know what? I think that's going to require them to be a little bit more cautious defensively. However, that means PV's going to have to make free throws down the stretch too. So it's really going to be interesting to see things early, if things change defensively for Garnet Valley, if they get a little bit more cautious. But at this point, it's a seeding game. They got to leave it all out there,
Vikings go back to their starting lineup. Julia Smith checks back in. The Miley sisters out there, Bettinger in the middle, and Jen Beatty on the outside. And just like that, Jen Beatty's on the inside, and she gets 2 points.
Love the cut to the basket. PV anticipated the trap and moved the ball quickly out of it.
Garnet Valley, on the other hand, using passing to get through a token trap and bring it across. Careful with the feet there. Pass to the inside. Bettinger defends and passes it to Julia Smith.
Great hands there for Bettinger. PV gets the turnover to start the second half after a made bad basket by Beatty.
Beatty, on the other hand, tried to move it around the horn instead. Goes back to Smith. Bettinger playing around the free throw line, at least for most of this first half and start the second half.
Yeah, they're finding success going inside out with that high post. Sometimes I wonder, shot there for Julia Smith off the mark. I wonder if we want to get Bettinger to turn and face the basket just a little bit to present some sort of an offensive presence, and maybe she can drive right into the basket for some layups. But that's not been the case so far. They're looking for the kick out for the 3.
And we remember CB East last week that Bettinger played near the free throw line a lot in the first half and then played underneath the basket in the second half. So we'll see if they do that. This ball is tied up, and it'll stick with Garnet Valley.
I think I'm not certain what the call was there, but the ball's going to stay here. But that was a jump ball. Okay. There was a jump ball there, and it stays here for Garnet Valley.
So the arrow is going to switch to the Vikings, but Garnet Valley gets an extra possession here and almost turned it over right away. But instead, it's Adamski who comes down with it. Another freshman on the court for Garnet Valley. So a lot of youth between both teams.
And she knocked down a 3 early in the game. I think she may have gotten hurt, but she's back there on the floor. Loose ball, PV picks it up.
Julia Smith with an ill-advised pass, and it's stolen by Ava Pazensky, who goes inside, and an easy 2 points for Carly DiSabatino.
Converting that turnover into 2 points was easy there for Garnet Valley, and PV's going to have to take care of the basketball up top with the ball.
And as you mentioned, turnovers have been a story for the Vikings so far in this game. Not a terrible surprise, though, with the experience or lack thereof on the court. But it is the end of the season, and maybe these aren't freshmen anymore. Another 2-on-1. And careful with the feet, but they do allow that, and it's Carly DiSabatino.
That's deflating there for the Vikings. Again, what's happening is they're getting their hands in the passing lane and causing block passes, and they're capitalizing on the turnovers.
Lead is now 9 for Garnet Valley, 30-21. Jen Beatty on the inside to Bettinger, back to Emma Miley for 3. That one rims out. But good rebound by her sister Grace, who gives it away and gets it right back. Emma Miley looking for Beatty on the inside, and the pass goes over their head and out of bounds. The Vikings go back to the bench. Lena Stein checks in as Julia Smith goes to the bench.
PV's going to pick up three-quarter court to see if they can apply their own defensive pressure.
Emma Miley almost with the steal. Instead, it's Ava Pezzenti with the pull-up jumper, and it's good. And that's an 11-point lead for Garnet Valley.
Garnet Valley's not really shooting the ball well to start the second half. They're up by 11, and PV's going to have to do something to stop that. And it's going to have to start here, I think, on the offensive side of the ball.
Not a whole lot of movement out there for the Vikings right now. Pass across to Stein, to Emma Miley for Bettinger, to Stein, now to Grace Miley. What is Garnet Valley doing to kind of flummox the Vikings so far?
I just think they have their hands in every passing opportunity. Grace Miley with a huge 3 there. And they're looking for traps wherever they can, and they're causing turnovers with just getting hands in places where PV's just not taking care of the ball.
And of course, if the Vikings were shooting just a little bit warmer right now, that they could probably improve upon that too. This one goes out of bounds. And that's been the story of the Viking season so far. When they shoot well, they're usually doing well, and when they struggle, this is a game like this. But they're only down 8, plenty of time left as well.
A lot of it has to do, I think, with a little bit of the chemistry too, and really just finding the right open passes, moving the ball a little bit more crisper. They're waiting a little bit on their passes, but
Grace Miley's shot short.
It's good. It was a good possession there, but a missed opportunity. A nice turnover here.
Emma Miley turns it right over, looking for Jen Beatty under the basket. Maybe just a little excited there with that pass?
A little bit. I saw that happen a few times already. It just passes off the mark, really, is what it really was.
Grace Miley with a steal, 2-on-1. Beatty flags it down, then she has to go back out to Miley for Beatty for 3. Off the front of the rim. Good rebound by Grace Miley to Bettinger, and an easy 2.
Grace Miley had a great series right there. She gets a turnover, comes down, she finds an open Quinn Bettinger. A lot of good things are happening on the floor for her tonight.
Garnet Valley calls timeout with 3:29 to go third quarter, and the Jaguars leading 32-26.
It's a 6-point game. Again, it's still manageable, but PV's a little bit off the mark with some of their passing. And I think they're just frazzled. I don't know why they're not on the same page with each other at times. That's a part of the problem. But Garnet Valley is knocking down a lot of shots early. It's hard to get back in when the other teams keep on making shots.
So the way that the seeding and tournament works out right now, the winner of this game will play the winner of Abington and Haverford. The losers will match up. These games are scheduled for Friday. And a halftime score, Haverford leads Abington 27-20. So if results hold, the Vikings will go on the road to play Abington in the game to decide the 7 and 8 seed. But we'll see. We'll see how this turns out.
So PV starting off again. Their three-quarter pressure. Emma Miley up top on number 24. Carly DiSabatino.
And again, Garnet Valley going with a passing attack here to get through the zone, or the trap rather, or the press. And now once again, freshman Haley Adamski guarded by Jen Beatty. Almost a turnover there. Instead, it's Ava Pezzenti. Long with that shot. Rebound by Garnet Valley. Pass out to Adamski, and she's fouled. Lena Stein will be called for this foul. Her first foul, and that's actually the first foul of the second half.
It's good rotation for the Perk Valley defensively. Unfortunately, the foul was called.
Elliot Adamski shooting 2. She makes the first. And that extends the lead to 7. And she makes the second coolly. That's a very confident stroke there.
It was, but they're shooting the ball pretty confidently all around right now.
3-point attempt is long. And a rebound by Ava Pizzenti, who has played very well for Garnet Valley today.
Lena Stein playing that tough perimeter defense. Good hands there from Miley.
3-on-2 for the Vikings. Grace Miley fouled by Adamski, and she'll shoot 2.
You got to love how aggressive she is in getting to the basket, drawing that foul. See if she makes these 3 throws.
Now, again, we don't have Maddie's stats here, so when I say this, I'm doing the best I can from memory. I believe this is the 3rd free throw for the Vikings. No, I'm sorry, the 5th free throw of the night. And this one's no good.
That's a good guess. I'll go with it.
I think they're 2 for 5. I think they're 2 for 5 from the free throw line. Grace Miley makes the second one. Substitutions coming in for Garnet Valley. Savannah Saunders, freshman, checks back in for Garnet Valley. And also checking back in is Kylie Mulholland, another freshman.
Some fresh legs out in the field here, on the floor here for Garnet Valley. Good hands here from Miley.
Pizzenti with good hands, though, gets it back. Mulholland over to Saunders. Saunders guarded by Miley. Miley with the steal. Grace Miley then fouled by Savannah Saunders, and I believe that's their 3rd against Saunders.
Her scrappiness is keeping PV alive here, and you got to love that.
Oh, excuse me, that is the 4th foul against Savannah Saunders. So Saunders checks in, then she checks back out, and Dee Sabatino comes back in. 2 minutes to go, 3rd quarter, and Garnet Valley continues to lead by 7. Bettinger for 2.
Nice interior pass there for Emma Miley to Bettinger. Bettinger finishes strong.
Now the Vikings pick up the press here, and they force a turnover. Beatty fouled by Carly Dee Sabatino.
And that's huge here in a lot of ways. The turnover was needed, and you get another foul here on Garnet Valley.
Dee Sabatino called for her first foul. She's going to check out. Adamski comes back in. 3rd team foul against Garnet Valley. Bettinger's pass does eventually make it to Stein. Back out to Miley for 3. Got it.
Huge for the Vikings. Brings them within 2.
Beatty off the front of the rim. And almost another turnover, but Garnet Valley has it. By the way, Sean, exciting news. We have a scoreboard on our screen now, thanks to our able-bodied producer, George Ultimus. So good job, George.
Great work by George to get the score up on the screen for you folks at home.
And they'll see that the Vikings trail only by 2 as we approach a minute to play in the 3rd quarter.
It's certainly going to be a good one all the way down to the wire.
Ball stolen by Miley. And then a timeout called by the Vikings.
Great hustle by the scrappy Miley, getting on the floor. They get the turnover. They get the timeout. Think things over. They've got about a minute left with the ball.
And this comeback has been by some good offense, forcing turnovers by the Vikings.
Yeah, I think it's their offense, but it's from their defense is picked up, and they're capitalizing on those turnovers. Not to mention, Garnet Valley is going to have to really start to be a lot more passive defensively. Not passive, but be careful, because they're racking up the fouls on some of their top players too. So, I mean, it's going down the stretch. It's going to be interesting to see how Garnet Valley's defense responds here and without picking up fouls.
Only 3 team fouls here in the second half, but a lot of fouls against some big players for Garnet Valley. Lena Stein's going to inbound it to Jen Beatty. Garnet Valley staying on their own side of the court, so the Vikings have a free pass as they decide not to press. Looks like a little bit of a zone here by Garnet Valley. Yeah,
they're going to stay home in the zone. I think they're going to shut down the opportunity for 3-pointers. They're going to try to get hands out there, and they're moving. The way you get out of this is you pass that ball quickly. I mean, real quickly, find that open shooter. And there we have an open Miley for a 3.
You know, the Vikings keep getting close, but they just can't seem to draw even. Adamski comes down with the rebound. Wide open three-point attempt is off the front of the rim. And the Vikings, with 20 seconds left, have a chance to hold for the final shot. Inside pass to Grace Smiley. The game is tied up. And that's how the third quarter will end, with the game tied at 34.
That was a really, I think, the best possession of the night for the Vikings. And coach is fired up. The reason why it was so good was that they were patient. They dictated the pace of that, and they found the shot that they wanted underneath with Grace Smiley. That's where PV wins, when they're running the show and they're finding the open pass and the open shot.
Also, having Quinn Bettinger up in the high post paid off in that possession.
I think putting her up high really opens up things down low for the cutting players, and that is, I think, the bread and the butter of Perkiomen Valley. But it's about finding those opportunities, and offensively they've been a little bit stagnant. People haven't been moving, so let's see how we do down the stretch offensively, going into the fourth, tied at 34.
And again, if you missed the third quarter, you would have thought, oh, the Vikings were hot that quarter. And they were warm, but it really was good defense that brought them back.
It was. And just as there may have been some sloppy play in the first half by the Vikings, I think towards the end of the third quarter, even though they started out strong offensively, Garnet Valley made shots early but turned the ball over a lot. And that's due to some grittiness here on the defensive end for PV.
And now this is the opposite of the second quarter, where Garnet Valley made the last shot of the half and got the ball. Now the Vikings make a shot, and they get the ball to start the fourth quarter. So a chance to take the lead as they go to Bettinger down low, and she's fouled before she gets the shot off. And maybe a little bit of a strategy change there for the Vikings as well.
Getting that ball inside of Quinn Bettinger, I think, is going to pay off down the stretch. So it's nice to see her getting the ball down in the post.
First foul of the game called against Caitlin Duggery. And now another foul, and this is 5 team fouls against Garnet Valley. Emily Olson called for that foul. It's her third. So once again, we kind of talked about this, but the fouls starting to pile up for.
They are,
Garnet
and
Valley.
it's going to have an effect down the stretch. I don't know if Garnet Valley is okay to live with that many fouls and putting PV on the line, but PV's going to have to make the free throws down the stretch to make them suffer for it.
Vikings pull out here with Jen Beatty. What we haven't really talked about too much, this could be the final home game for Jen Beatty and Emma Miley. And Beatty goes to the basket and gets 2 and gives the Vikings the lead.
That's a great drive to the basket for Beatty.
Vikings pick up the press again. Garnet Valley breaks it. And now Adamski for the lead. No. Rebounded by Duggery. Back to Adamski for 3. This one long again. And then a foul underneath. And this one I think is called against Grace Smiley.
It is. She went over top, I think, going for that rebound. And that's unfortunate. But I think Garnet Valley's getting just too many opportunities in this possession to shoot. PV's got to hit the boards.
Quick inbound to Olsen, and that rims out. Bettinger comes down with the rebound, and Beatty brings it up the floor. She loses the ball, but gets it back. Vikings go with Lena Stein to carry the ball here on this possession. Stein back to Beatty. Now to Grace Miley. Miley to the basket, and she's fouled, and she'll shoot 2.
PV's was working in that possession with the dribble handoff, I guess, to secure the fact that there wouldn't be turnovers. And that nice drive to the basket gets Grace Miley on the line. That's 16 fouls for Garnet Valley at this point, and 6 minutes left in the game. So,
Ava Pezenti called for the foul. Hold on. Well, the officials gave it to Pezenti, but I don't think she was in on the. There we go. Kylie Mulholland called for the foul. It's her first, but you're right, 16 foul, and there wasn't a single foul called for the first 4 minutes of the half, and now Garnet Valley has 6. Grace Miley shooting 2. Checking back into the game for Garnet Valley is Carly DiSabatino. Vikings did lead earlier in this game. They had the first 5 points of the game, so they did lead 5-0. But since then, this is their first lead of the game.
And they had a 3-point lead.
Adamski is defended by Quinn Bettinger under the basket.
The first block of the night for Quinn. We love to see that.
Ball stays with Garnet Valley. They'll inbound it underneath the basket. And it comes into Adamski. Adamski to Pezenti. Pass off, no good. Rebound by Olsen, and she puts it up, and she gets fouled as both teams continue to get called for fouls here in the second half.
Yeah, it's certainly not a good opportunity to, down the stretch, allow for the opposing team to get this many offensive rebounds. So PV's going to have to step that up.
Quinn Bettinger called for her first. Bettinger has had a quiet game on the defensive end tonight. And that could just be that Garnet Valley's game plan is to stay away from her.
I'm sure that their scouting report indicated that Quinn Bettinger was a presence inside defensively, so I'm sure that was part of their game plan to avoid at all costs.
Emily Olsen misses her first free throw. She'll attempt the second. She misses that one as well, but another rebound by Garnet Valley. Pezenti loses the ball and gets it back. Defended by Miley, who has 2 fouls, but they all came in the first half. Pezenti with a spin move, loses to Beatty. It's a 2-on-1 the other way. Beatty takes it herself, and she gets fouled. Going to the basket by Carly DiSabatino. That'll be Carly DiSabatino's second foul, 7th foul against Garnet Valley.
Smart move there for Jen Beatty to keep the basketball in her own hands and draw the foul.
Sounds like you're getting choked up about this free throw.
I'm emotional.
And Beatty shooting 2. Vikings lead by 4 after that free throw, and they can match their largest lead of the game with this one. Again, for our viewers just joining us, you missed us not being able to talk for the first part of the first half. And the Vikings did get out to a 5-0 lead, but it's been all Garnet Valley since then until now. Now the Vikings up 5.
So you haven't missed anything. I'm just kidding. No, it's been a back and forth. It's been a great game so far. 5 minutes left in the game and still undecided as to where this is going to go.
Adamski defended by Bettinger, who gets it to Beatty. So as Garnet Valley tries to attack the inside, Bettinger's starting to warm to the task.
That's her second block of the night.
Oh, Stein to Bettinger for 2. And Garnet Valley calls timeout.
Great pass, great attack in the lane, and a great finish there for Quinn Bettinger.
Vikings have their biggest lead of the night. They lead by 7 with 5:24 to go.
It's a headsy play there for Lena Stein. I love the drive and the find of the big 7-point game here with 5 minutes and 24 seconds left in the game.
And now that the Vikings lead by 7, the foul situation for Garnet Valley really starts to increase.
Well, PV's in the bonus at this point, so every foul is going to put them to. Coach is telling them, make sure you're making those free throws. You don't want that to come back. You don't want that to come back and bite you. That to come back and bite you. So every time there's a foul, they got to knock them down.
And we remember back to that game last week against CB East that it was the free throws in the second half that got them through.
And you know, traditionally you've seen PV come through at the free throw line down the stretch of games. I don't want to jinx anything, but if they can do that, this game looks like it come to be successful for them.
It'll be Garnet Valley ball after the timeout. Ava Pezenti will inbound it. Vikings again showing a 3/4 court press. Pezenti and DiSabatino play catch. Emily Olsen, bounce pass. And the basket is good for Emily Olsen. Duggery with the pass and Emily Olsen with the basket. And now Garnet Valley picks up the press. It's a 2-on-1 the other way. Grace Miley, basket is good and the foul.
They they totally picked that press apart patiently, found Miley underneath, and she went up strong, made the basket, and now she's going to seek to finish that three-point play.
Caitlin Duggery's second foul, 8th team foul. And Grace Miley with a chance to put the Vikings up by 8. And for Garnet Valley, they got to start thinking about how many baskets can they make here in the last 5 minutes of this game. Yeah, we talked about this earlier, but the Vikings did beat Garnet Valley earlier this year, 56-43, and you know that score might be pretty close to where this one ends up too.
It's pretty close. It's pretty close. And again, Quinn Bettinger alters a shot. I think that might be her third or fourth block in this quarter alone.
Another Garnet Valley foul. This one against Caitlin Duggery. Oh, excuse me. Dee Sabatino called for the foul. That's her third, team 9th. Lena Stein will shoot a 1-1. And this is a good chance for the Vikings to start to pull away.
Absolutely.
Although she misses the first. And Caitlin Duggery flags down the rebound. Ooh, sloppy turnover there. Right to the Perk Valley student section. I'm sure they'll enjoy that one.
They I'm sure, love the opportunity to get involved in the game every chance they get. But yeah, that turnover is costly for Garnet Valley.
Garnet Valley with the press, though, as they make it difficult to inbound. Grace Miley gets it in, comes across the timeline, and hands it off to Lena Stein.
And at this point, it's really important to not allow Garnet Valley to dictate the pace of the game. PV's got to slow things down, use the clock, make them foul, knock down free throws.
Halfway through the fourth quarter, Beatty gives it to Grace Miley. Back to Stein, back to Beatty. Beatty to the basket and fouled on the way. 10th team foul for Garnet Valley, so it'll be 2 free throws from here on out for the Vikings. It'll be 2 for Beatty anyway, as she was fouled on the way to the basket. And that is the 4th foul against Emily Olson.
Yeah, that certainly does hurt Garnet Valley.
Savannah Saunders and Kylie Mulholland come back in for Garnet Valley. Nine-point lead for the Vikings. Vicente with a spin move, it just rolls off the edge. And a rebound taken down by the Vikings.
Lena Stein with the quick hands. Ball goes back to Jen Beatty. And there's a turnover.
Ball on the floor, handed off, and Mulholland with it easy too. A little sloppy in their own end there. As a coach, this is where you start saying every possession matters now from here on out.
Absolutely, and again, it's a 7-point lead, but that can go away real quickly. So PV has 3 minutes left. They got to really milk this clock, but also be careful with the basketball.
Bettinger to Emma Miley for 3, and now a foul underneath called against Perk Valley. Jen Beatty called for the foul, her second, team 4th. So the Vikings not facing the same foul issues that Garnet Valley has here in the second half.
It's a 10-4. It's a wide gap there, so they have some fouls to give.
Extra pass to Olson. Olson had the ball poked out of her hands, ahead for Beatty, who gets the 2. And Garnet Valley calls timeout.
It's a 9-point lead here for the Vikings, and the turnover was just timely. Totally needed that to put the team up by 9. Again, it's about 2 minutes and a half. I think they're in a good spot here. It's really important because I think Garnet Valley is going to come out with all the defensive intensity they possibly have to really. This is their final push.
And Garnet Valley's got to start making some baskets as well, as they have gone cold here in the second half. Good defense by the Vikings, but also some cold shooting from the Jaguars.
Yeah, I think PV's defense is definitely picked up. They've become a lot more scrappier in this second half, getting on loose balls and converting on those turnovers.
Garnet Valley will inbound on their own end. The Vikings will show a no press on this one.
That's smart. A little bit of pressure up top. We don't really need a foul. You want them to take time off the clock and let them run in a half-court offense. So
almost a turnover. Says it's going to be a jump ball, but it'll stay with Garnet Valley. .2:18 to play, fourth quarter. The Vikings lead by 9. Inbound to Olsen. Now to Saunders. Now to Vicente. Vicente off to the wing, and that was Caitlin Duggery with the right-handed layup.
That looked like a sky hook a little bit.
She looked very comfortable doing it.
Yeah, it was a good shot. It was a really great shot, and that brings them within 7.
Vikings struggle a little bit to bring it across midcourt, but they do get there. Now fouled near the half-court line, and if it's Saunders, it's her 5th. That is her 5th.
That's a tough call against Saunders, who really played hard tonight. That's going to put Jen Beatty on the line to shoot 2.
So Savannah Saunders fouls out of this one. Jen Beatty will shoot 2. But the team gets 30 seconds to think about it, so Garnet Valley will take their 30 seconds.
They're trying to ice a shooter, I think, is what they're trying to do.
Sure.
Absolutely. Anything to try to get that turnover, I understand.
Carly DiSabatino will check in now for Savannah Saunders. And we'll see if Jen Beatty, the senior, is flummoxed by this at all. Hey, missed the first one, so it stays a 7-point game. Crafty play by Coach Joe Woods there at Garnet Valley. Second one is good.
Second one is good there for PV.
Mulholland, ooh, that's a nice play. She goes coast to coast and then floats it in.
It's a good floater there for Garnet Valley. PV's going to seek to get this ball across midcourt.
Emma Miley to Jen Beatty. And we'll see if Garnet Valley starts fouling now. Seems to be playing some aggressive defense, and now foul is called against Kylie Mulholland.
At this point, that was really good offensive composure, I think, for Grace Miley. Just really holding on to the ball, forcing the foul, and now she just has to knock down those free throws.
Grace Miley will shoot 2. That's the second foul against Kylie Mulholland. Yeah, as we look across the floor, the Garnet Valley Jaguars have brought a student section of 4, but they are an enthusiastic 4.
They are doing everything that they can. But it does not face Grace Smiley. She knocks down both free throws, making it an 8-point lead.
1:15 to play, fourth quarter. The Vikings lead by 8. Hey, Garnet Valley's got to start showing some urgency on offense, don't they? And instead, the Vikings foul. Now, they had a couple to give, so that's the 15th foul. Lena Stein called her for the foul, her second. So the Vikings have one more foul to give with 1:06 to play. Olsen to DiSabatino. DiSabatino back to Olsen. Under a minute to play. Olsen hands off to Vicente. The three-pointer is short. Jen Beatty comes down with the rebound.
Yeah, we're under a minute at this point. PV should just kind of, I think, pull out and just hold the ball, force the foul.
You would think Garnet Valley will either foul or just kind of give this one up. "30 seconds left. Stein to Beatty. And Garnet Valley not attempting the foul here as Miley gets it inside the arc, and she passes back to Beatty with 20 seconds left. And now Lena Stein, and this one looks like it's going to go to the finals book. 10 seconds left. We don't know where the Vikings will be playing next. If Abington wins their game, the game will be at Abington. If Abington loses their game, it'll be right here on Friday night to figure out the seeding as the Vikings win 50-42.
Great outing here for the Vikings. Moving on to the next round in the seeding for state playoffs. It was a really good show. I think a lot of resilience for the team as they started off slow.
So the Vikings will play again Friday night. If it's home, we'll have the live stream game for you. If not, someone else will take care of it, not our problem. Once again, our final score tonight, Perkiomen Valley 50, Garnet Valley 42. For director producer George Altimus, and Reese was here tonight too. Thank you, Reese and Sean Burke. I'm Ryan Kuhn, wishing you a pleasant good evening.